Hey guys, welcome to Fit and Fun. I'm Missy Kane, and today we're going to add a little flow to our fitness, something that's great for everybody. A little bit of yoga would really help us out in so many ways, and I've got an expert here, teacher. Meg, tell everybody who you are and where you teach and all that good stuff. We'll do a few shoulder shrugs too.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Meg Lambert, Knoxville transplant. I've been here for about 6 years. I teach yoga at AMJ Fitness here on Magnolia Avenue.
Close to the studio here, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And as well at the Botanical Gardens.
Yes, I think we've got you sent some pictures in and talk about, yoga is great for strength, balance, but also relaxation.
Most
and,
definitely.
When you get to the Botanical Gardens, talk about relaxation.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the view is amazing. While the weather doesn't permit us to be outside right now, we are doing it into the Welcome Center. So it's just amazing in there. You have the outlook of the trails while you're doing your postures, and so it's just full effect there.
Right, it's really neat. I'm going to do some kickbacks here and kind of warm up my quads, and we've got a few pictures that Meg brought in. And again, Knoxville Botanical Gardens is 47 acres.
Yes.
It's really big.
It's
in
humongous.
East Knoxville. That's it, and you're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, but I'm sure people can go on Facebook or website and see when you teach.
Definitely, yeah. I have a website. It is www.aishiwi.wordpress.com, as well as Facebook, Aishiwi, and Instagram. So I post my schedules there a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, you can find out whenever classes are for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty picture. So
thank you.
I'm going to be leading some hikes there for some kids, and also I've been there and hiked, and there's actually let's do a few big arm circles. Covenant Health Knoxville Marathon gave the Botanical Gardens a grants to build that 1.5-mile trail.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to use that. So
awesome.
Obviously, Meg is our expert. So she's going to take us through some sun salutations, and you can adapt it however you need to, because I may. And we'll just start out and getting us warmed up.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to do the traditional sun salutation A. So this is more so fit for beginners. And basically, we want to start and end with our hands to heart center. With this being a salutation, you just want to start and end with your intention there right at your heart. So we will begin in mountain pose in Tadasana. And the way you want to start is thinking about your feet being hip width apart. Your core is engaged, your spine's elongated, your hands at your heart open, shoulders pulled down away from your ears. And in sun salutations, we think about aligning our breathing with our movements. So on an inhale, we'll take our palms up. We'll follow our gaze to our thumbs, pressing our palms together. And on the exhale, we'll rotate those palms out. We'll swan dive down, bending at the hips, hands down to the mat. Exhale, we'll step back 1 foot at a time into high plank pose. So engage that core. We're going to tuck those elbows in, and on your next exhale, let's bend down to chaturanga. So we're engaging all those muscles there: thighs, core, arms.
And I went down all the way before Meg.
That's fine. And release. And then we're going to lay the tops of our feet down onto the mat. Place those hands at each side of your chest, and we're going to come into cobra on your next inhale. When you're coming into cobra, you're going to lead with your chest. So we'll pick up, and then we'll finish out pressing through the palms into cobra. If you're not quite ready for cobra, what you can do is what Miss Missy's doing here is Sphinx pose. So you just keep your your forearms down onto the mat.
And that's really good for my low back.
Definitely.
Physical therapy told me to do this, so this is perfect.
In cobra, you want to think about pressing your shoulders away from your ears, relaxing those glutes. On your next inhale, we'll tuck those toes into our mats, and we're going to pull our hips up and back into down dog. So press through your palms, push your hips back. We'll stay in down dog for about 5 breaths, so you can do a body assessment here. Think about keeping your shoulders relaxed, your ears even with your arms, your hips pressed up and back. If you need to bend your knees slightly, that's fine, because most importantly, we're thinking about elongating our spine in this move. So just do some deep breaths here, recenter.
Good stretch with the hamstring.
Definitely. If you can press those heels down, but if you're not quite ready, that's fine too. And on your next inhale, you'll just look up in between your arms and take a walk up towards your hands with your feet. We'll stay forward bend here in Uttanasana. And take an inhale, we'll come up to flat back. So we're just engaging that core, pulling up on a flat back, hands right above the knees. And then we'll take an exhale and melt back over our thighs, Uttanasana. And then leading with our hands, dragging them up from the mat, engaging our core, coming up flat back. We'll come back into mountain pose, hands to heart center. So that's one full rotation of a sun salutation. And basically you can do that about 3 to 5 times for a nice warm up to just get into your flow.
Feels good. I think I'm following it, and I am changing some of mine. So, and you can do that. I think people are intimidated sometimes thinking, oh, I can't do what Meg does, but it's
sure,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah, there's plenty of modifications. Like when we were in Chaturanga there, you can do Ashtanga pose, which is an 8-limb pose. And basically what you're doing is coming down to your knees first.
Right.
And you come down a little bit easier. It doesn't apply all that weight onto your arms. So it's a good modification as well. So yeah, there's plenty of modifications you can do.
I think I can do a couple others. So if you want to take us through it again, that's great.
Awesome. Yeah. So perfect. We can, you want to go through sun salutation again? You want to try something new?
Yeah, let's do sun salutation one more time.
Perfect.
Don't you guys think that? I think they do agree. Okay.
Awesome, definitely. Yeah, so again, we'll begin hands to heart center. And take just a full breath there. To just center yourself. And on your inhale, we'll bring those hands up. Follow your gaze to your thumbs. Exhale, rotate those palms out. Forward fold, swan dive down. And here, hands on the mat, we'll inhale, step back into high plank. And here's what I'm talking about. We can do a modification. And so instead of full chaturanga here, we can do a 8-limb pose. So what you do is you want to drop your knees down. And we still tuck those elbows in nice and easy. And on an exhale, we'll lower down, still engaging that core.
Still can feel it, yeah.
But we're going to rest our chins and our chest right down onto the mat. So you'll be in this move for just a moment. You want to soften that heart. So you'll have your weight distribution on your knees, your 2 feet, your chest, and your chin. And then when you're ready on your next inhale, you'll engage your hands here, press your palms into the ground, straighten those legs out, and then we'll lead with our chest and press up either into Sphinx pose, nice and easy, onto our forearms, or you can pull all the way up into Cobra.
Yeah, so this is the one, Meg, where I was having some low back, and the Mark, physical therapist, said to do this maybe 3 times a day, where I'd be flat and I would come up and hold it.
Exactly.
And it really, within a couple days, my back felt so much better.
It loosens you up a lot. So from
feels
here,
really good.
If you're not quite ready, I know last time we pushed straight into down dog.
Right.
If you want to have another little soft transition, we can dig our toes into the mat and press back into tabletop pose first. So this just gives you an extra little stop here to make going into down dog a little bit easier. So in tabletop, you want to think about having your shoulders aligned straight over your wrist and your hips stacked straight over your knees. So this is a nice just moment here to assess your body, to think about your movements and to think about what your body is telling you. Definitely everything's engaged, so we don't let our tummies go and let our back go. We want to be fully engaged, nice sturdy tabletop. So when you're going into down dog from tabletop, same thing from Cobra, we're going to just tuck our toes into the mat on an inhale, and on an exhale you'll press your hips back, pushing through your palms up into down dog. So in down dog, you don't necessarily have to be still. You know, you can move around a little bit. One thing that's really popular is you can just walk your dog here. And essentially all that is just bending one knee at a time. Yeah. So we're just intensifying that stretch, getting our bodies moving a little bit. And anytime I'm in down dog, I just like to do my little body assessment and think about my alignment of everything. So you want your fingertips nice and wide. You're pushing through your palms. You're strong. Your arms are strong and straight.
And my ears should be in line with my arms.
Your arms, okay. Correct. So you want your shoulders nice and relaxed as well, so that your neck can move freely. Sometimes I just like to tell people to do a little figure 8 with their head there. And again, your legs don't have to be straight. So the important thing is that your back is nice and elongated. So you can bend your knees slightly, press through your palms, and just think about there's a string in your tailbone pulling your tailbone up to the sky. So you're just pushing back, elongating that spine there. So down dog really stretches more than just the legs. It's stretching the arms. We're stretching our back there. So just take a few moments here, a few deep breaths. And on your next inhale, just take a gaze up, forward, and then we'll walk our feet to our hands. So we'll be in a forward fold here. So this is Uttanasana. So just on an inhale, straighten those legs out, and let's come up on a flat back so we're engaging our spine, pulling up. Hands right over the knees, big inhale. And then we'll exhale. We'll just round that spine, engage that core, and melt over our thighs. And then on your inhale again, flatten that back, come up, straight arms. And then seal it back, hands to heart center into Tadasana, mountain pose. So sun salutation, just warms you up. It's a nice...
I feel a lot warmer than I did starting out.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, is it okay to get a little water break and get something to drink?
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Because I know I get... I'm always trying to stay hydrated. So people bring their water bottles to class and all that.
Most definitely, yeah. I encourage people, some people feel weird about having their personal belongings besides the mat, but you have everything you need. You want everything close in hand. If you have blocks or blankets or anything like that for your modifications, for your movements, it's important to have them close and in hand, because you don't want to have to get out of that pose or injure yourself, trying to grab something. So you want everything nice and close to you.
Well, that was the sun salutation. I know that before we started taping, you showed me a little bit with warrior poses too.
Yeah, definitely. So we can go through all the warriors. We can go through 1, 2, and 3 for sure. So it's usually easiest to start right at the tip top of your mat. In mountain pose is what I like to tell everybody. So we want to have our feet about hip width apart. You want to have your core engaged, your spine long, shoulders rolled back away from your ears. And usually in mountain pose, we just have our palms open, arms down to the side. So we can take our hands to heart center, and on an inhale, we're going to step our right leg back. And when you step it back, you want to have your right foot just at maybe like a 45-degree angle there. Just enough to open those hips slightly. Perfect. Then we'll twist those hips back forward. So if your back heel rotates slightly, that is fine. We want to have our hips aligned, facing forward. Then on an inhale, we'll take our palms straight up, fingertips to the sky. And on an exhale, we can come down into that lunge into Warrior 1. So what you want to think about in Warrior 1 is that our knees don't go past our toes. Just think about having your knees stacked on top of your ankle there. You want to have those inner thighs and your core engaged. Your shoulders rolled back away from your ears and your gaze forward.
And this is good balance too.
Definitely.
Good for kids, all ages. And if you're new at this, you could even be next to a countertop and kind of hold on or tap something if you had to.
For sure, exactly. Yeah, if you're just beginning in yoga, if you want a little extra security, for sure. I know when I was first doing like dancer pose or any of those balancing poses, I definitely started on the wall, and then I would very slowly lift myself off of the wall. So it training wheels for sure. So we can transition from Warrior 1 to Warrior 2. How you're going to do that is we can just rotate our palms out and bring our hands down, as well as we're going to rotate that right heel in slightly to bring our foot to a 90-degree angle. That's going to open our hips up more, and our torso is going to go more diagonal here. So again, we keep our spine elongated, our core engaged, our arms stretched out to each side, our shoulders rolled back away from our ears. Be mindful when you're in Warrior 2 that our knee doesn't cave in. You want to keep it pulled out to the left side.
Oh, I feel this all over.
Definitely any of the warriors are going to be a nice exercise for all body parts here. So you want to continue to breathe through these movements, nice and steady.
And if you're just joining us, this is Meg, who teaches at Knoxville Botanical Gardens a couple days a week, and also at a studio on Magnolia, correct?
Yes, at AMJ Fitness.
AMJ Fitness.
So perfect. So Warrior 3 is a little more advanced, and it's challenging your balance a little more.
Okay.
So how we'll transition into that is that we'll go ahead and take our hands to heart center, just to center ourselves here, and we're going to rotate that heel back, coming into a lunge. So if a deep lunge like this is a little more challenging to you, you can just lessen your stance a little bit, maybe step up. So when we go into Warrior 3, what I want you to do is engage in that core and those inner thighs. I want you to distribute your weight into your left leg, your standing leg here. And what we're going to do is on a launch, we're going to engage our core and lift off onto our left leg. So what we're doing simultaneously is straightening that left leg as well as tipping our hips forward.
And I'm tapping. Is that okay?
That's just fine. So yeah, you may not be far off of the ground. You may need to tap a little bit just to regain that sense of balance. But what you want to think about achieving in Warrior 3 is that our leg, our hips, our back, our shoulders are all aligned in one even line.
Meg's are. Mine are not.
And that's
wow,
just
that
fun.
Really,
that's the fun in yoga.
That really works your piriformis.
Definitely. So on inhale, you just want to pull everything in and then come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. So that's Warrior 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that's good.
It gets a little bit harder with each one, right?
Yeah. We probably could go through that on the other side. How we're doing on time. I know we've got some students here. We've got about 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We can, let's try to do a couple different balancing poses here.
That's what we all need. Hikers out there, we need this, and walkers. Okay.
Definitely. So definitely when you're doing any of those movements, like we did Warrior 1, 2, and 3 on our right side, you definitely want to repeat that all on the left side. Sure. So we'll go into some balancing movements here, and we'll try tree pose and eagle pose.
Alrighty.
So these are two good ones to think about. Just engaging your core and working on your balance. So when you're coming into tree pose, we want to start in mountain pose here in Tadasana. So think about having your shoulders roll back away from your ears again, core engaged, spine long, palms forward. And we're going to work on standing on our left side. So you want to distribute your weight all over on your left foot and just slowly lift that right heel and come up. So I'll go through all levels here. So when you're lifting your right heel up, you want to go ahead and open that right hip up, and you can rest your heel just right above your left ankle. So you want your foot, you don't want your foot to be curling into the front of your shin there. You want to have everything nice and open. And you can bring your hands to heart center for balance.
And I guess you could tap down if you needed to.
Definitely, yep.
This side is better than my other, but I still have to tap down some.
So if you want a little more of a challenge, just whenever you're ready, you can come up slightly. So you don't want your foot to rest right onto your knee. You can go below your heel, right below your knee, or you can come above. So have your toes right above your knee there. So again, don't let your foot curl in and your hip close. You want to keep everything nice and open. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, I suggest bringing your hands to your hips, taking that right hand and grabbing onto your ankle just to pull that right heel right into your groin area. And again, remembering to keep that foot nice and open, to keep those hips open.
I think I'll try that in another session, which is fine.
There we go. Yeah. So you can come
and
out
you
of that.
got to focus too. You got to focus on a point, don't you?
Definitely, yes. Yeah. So when you're in any balancing movements, you want to find just a steady thing to look at.
That's from your
right
dancer background, right?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely spotting You want to find that steady thing to spot. So we can try to go into eagle pose from here. Sure. So standing in Tadasana again is a very good starting pose for anything. So we'll bring our hands to heart center. And what we want to do going into eagle pose, and we'll balance onto our left foot again, onto our left side. We'll lift up our right heel, and you're just going to cross that right leg over the left leg very tight. So you just pull those inner thighs in together very tight. And then what you're going to do is just tuck that right foot behind the left calf.
If you can.
If you can. If you can't, just sit it right there on the left side of your left calf. And so from there, we can just put our hands into eagle arms. So what you're going to do is you're going to stack your right elbow on top of your inner left elbow. And then just rotate those palms in. And again, just like Missy said, we want to find a nice focal point.
I was watching my buddy Chris give me the time, and just looking around, I lost my balance there. This is, if you all are watching and thinking this is easy, this is not.
Yeah, this one is one of the more advanced balancing movements here. So you just hold that as long as you can. Come out whenever you're ready. So first I like to undo my arms, maybe hands to hips, and then come out. Usually a little more smoothly than that. And just come back into mountain pose.
Yoga?
I've been practicing yoga since 2013. So just about 4 years. I started in January 2013.
Wow. Well, you're good at it. But you can pick it up. And I know that it's new to me, but even doing a couple classes, I'll feel like my flexibility's better. And
sure, definitely.
We've got about 4 more minutes. I thought, can we go into a few of those mountain poses on the other side?
Most definitely.
Okay. So I think I was this side, so I was going to do this side now.
Right. So mountain pose, just up front. So when we did our warriors earlier, we stepped back
left. So I guess
with our left leg.
Right,
Yeah. So we'll step back with the right. So when you're doing your warrior, you want to step back. Take an inhale and step back with an exhale.
I think I did the opposite of you, so I'm going to do that.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect. So yeah, we're going to step back on an exhale, and then in warrior one, like I said, you just want your foot rotated to a nice 45-degree angle. Think about pulling your hips back to the front. Inhale, take those fingertips up. And then on your exhale, let's dip down into our lunge. Pushing those shoulders back away from your ears. Engaging your core, your inner thighs. Nice. So transitioning from here into warrior two, you'll just bring the rotation out of your foot into a 90-degree angle. Rotate those palms out, arms down to each side. Remembering not to let that knee cave in, keeping your hips nice and open. Shoulders roll down away from the ears, core engaged, spine long.
I can really feel my deltoids, my shoulders getting
Definitely.
some work.
Everything's engaged here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then going into warrior three, we're just going to rotate that heel again, rotating it out. Coming into a lunge. So we're rotating our hips back forward. Maybe bringing those hands to heart center. And then you can lessen your stance there just to make that lunge nice and sturdy. And then pressing the weight into your front leg, into your right leg in your case, but whatever your front leg is right here. Pressing your weight into that and leading with your hips. You're going to come up, launch off. And like Missy said, we can do the tapping here if you're not quite ready to go into full warrior three. You want to think about having your hips aligned. So whenever you're ready, you're going to tip those hips forward, engage that core, and think about having everything in line here. So our tummies, our chest, our legs, our hips.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, normally we're going to cool it down now and tell people that when we're done, make sure you do a few more exercises like stretching that you need to, because normally your classes are not half hour, they're more like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, so classes range from about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And we always definitely have some cool down movements.
Right, relaxation.
Sure, yeah, we're
Right.
going to do Savasana at the end, so that's corpse pose. So that's where we'll practice on our breathing and our meditation and things like that.
Right. Well, let's just do some big arm circles here, and then you can take
Definitely.
us out into our mountain pose with our hearts to.
Hands to heart center, sure. Yep, so just on an exhale, bring those hands down. Hands to heart center. And just here at the end of each practice or whatever practice you know you're doing, I just like to take that time to seal what you've accomplished on the mat that day. Just being thankful for your time and your space.
That was great. That was
Nice.
good. So, you guys remember, we're here Monday through Friday on East Tennessee PBS and WCTE, a little bit in Cookeville and Nashville. And we'll see you next time on Fit and Fun. This was flow time. This was good.